and I think you've met him plenty of times with your
Yeah.
Wilson days, and I played in a Wilson outing with him once. And the one thing I'll say is he seemed like, well, for a lack of better terms, a little bitch.
Are you custom made, custom paid, or you just custom fitted?
Welcome to another Fits with the Founder. I'm your founder, Nick, and I'm here with Brad Sislo. Brad, what's going on?
Salute. Happy 4th, everybody.
Yeah, I was going to say this comes out on, we're filming it on the Tuesday, but it's going to come out on 4th of July. You saw my old truck, my 83 project truck I've been driving. Do you want to know why I've been driving that the last couple of days?
I don't know. I don't want to know, but I saw your park job yesterday morning.
Yeah, it wasn't great. That thing doesn't have very good turn radius, although it doesn't even have power steering. So there you go.
True.
No, I've been driving it because there's $4,000 worth of fireworks in my other truck.
I figured.
And I'm like, man, I can't drive this all week with that many fireworks in there in case it rains or whatever happens because it's in the back bed. Even though I got a cover, it gets, wet in there. So I'm so excited to blow off fireworks. It's like my favorite thing to do every year.
As long as you got 10 fingers on next Monday, you're good. You're good.
I think I'm a seasoned vet when it comes to this stuff.
So
Although it makes me think of that video where the guy's in the wheelchair and he's lighting fireworks and he gets stuck. Terry, move, Terry, get out of there, Terry. Oh man, what a video!
I just saw that. Did you see that box truck that blew up driving down the road?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking Nick's car.
That's why I don't have the other truck this week, is because I was like, man, and I had it packed because I had to go to Indiana. So what we did is we took, I had my member, the Calcutta this past weekend. We finished second in our flight, but I was part of a betting syndicate. There was 4 of us. And the other group finished first in their flight. We ended up winning a bunch of money. So we went out Saturday night for dinner. And then during dinner, I'm like, why don't we take this money over to Indiana and buy fireworks for the 4th? And so we all jumped in my truck and we went over there. We bought so much. We had to play Tetris in the parking lot there for 30 minutes trying to figure out how to get all this in the truck and get back to Illinois. So
I might need to buy some gear from you for the 4th too, because I need a quarter stick, half stick, whatever you have,
just something to make boom.
Yeah. Mistwood will never be the same on the 4th.
Oh God! If I played in that thing, I would bring a mortar shells out and I would just start shooting mortars off. I've done that at Black Sheep. They don't really love that.
What? I always hear customers come in and they go, yeah, I won the Super Bowl square. I'm buying a new set of irons. But I haven't heard I won my Calcutta and I'm going to buy some fireworks before.
It was awesome because every year I'm like, I'm going to spend all this money. But, it's we 4th of July is also we split it with my kid's birthday and it's like a double thing. And so I always just do a big fireworks show. And every year I put that credit card and I'm like, man, that hurts a little. But this year, you're right. I had all this money and I'm like, we're going all in. And my wife and my buddy wife, Sergey, they had never been to a fireworks store with us. And the 2 of us in a fireworks store is a problem. We had one of those flatbed things from Costco. We actually were buying stuff off the guy from the back room. We went to him, we're like, where's the professional grade stuff? And he's like, you know how expensive that stuff is? And we're like, we're aware. And, we started buying professional grade cakes. Yeah,
I hope that car is parked in the barn right now, somewhere cool.
It is. It's parked in the air-conditioned barn.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I played okay. The giraffe putter is the gamer, just FYI.
Right.
And the Callaway AI 200 coppers, pretty good.
Those look pretty good. I saw them getting built by Ryan, and I saw them on the desk, and I was like, damn, those look pretty good.
Yeah, they look pretty good. And I know Vic's going to hate this, but I wanted to try heavier and stiffer, so I put the UST Dart 120 X in there, F5. Yeah. Solid shaft.
Yeah.
Really solid shaft. Super. Maybe I've just been – I know the numbers are okay for me on lighter, but this just felt like I had a little bit more control. Now, my swing is a train wreck right now, so it is what it is. It just kind of helped me. I think it costs me a little distance, but right now I'll take that if I can hit a green.
Right.
So,
well, speaking of fireworks, did you see Potgetter just absolutely destroy a golf ball?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
196 ball speed. I mean, this kid can't even drink yet.
I know. Well, yeah. Aldrich.
Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was a good tournament to have that playoff. I was kind of pulling for Pot. How do you say his name?
I think it's Potgetter.
Yeah, you said it right better than I would say it. Him and Kirk are SST peer disciples, so I was really hoping for them. But Aldrich, pretty darn good too.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, young kid. He's not even 21.
And then since our last time we did this, I mean, we also had
Keegan,
the Travelers. And
Keegan.
Who won that?
Keegan.
Which is he going to play on his own Ryder Cup team?
I'm going to tell you what, though. Don't sleep on P. Reed. He came off a victory down at Maridoe for Liv, and P. Reed. I mean, that is like Mr. Ryder Cup right there.
I know, and he looked good too. He looked real good.
Yeah.
I know he's a tough personality, but I've always listened. He's been good to Club Champion. You know, when he was on the PGA Tour, he used to stop into Club Champions when he was at tour spots to use the Sam Putt Lab and work.
Yeah, I remember that.
He would have our guys tweak things and whatnot, and so I've always been a fan of him just for that reason. He was always nice to us. So yeah, it was good to see him. You're right. It's going to be interesting to see when do they make those choices.
It's got to be coming up soon, but I mean, you know, Morikawa's making a late push. There's a lot of guys that played last time though that we might not see. You know, when you think of Wyndham and Max, so it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not going to have Brooks Koepka. He hasn't been playing good,
right?
And then he smashes that tee box.
Oh, that was a good
one. People in their rage. Like, here's the deal. I have rage, as you know. I think golf rage is a thing. Definitely a thing. But like, okay, so this is going to go back to my Rory, and I probably said this on the last one, but the guy just absolutely smashes tee markers, throws clubs, does all this stuff, and the media just doesn't really do much with it. And then Brooks Koepka smashes, like, that thing looked like it was made out of plastic.
Yep.
And, you know, it's like the end of the world. Like, whatever. Like, pisses me off.
It's makes for good TV, good commentary, but
Wyndham, your boy Wyndham, getting kicked out of Oakmont for that. He did apologize. Now, to me, that is going a little far as damaging lockers. Like, that one, like, I know in their head they're like, well, I'll just pay for it, whatever. It was worth it. But, I don't think you do it at a prestigious place like Oakmont. But, hey, they're playing for millions of dollars, man. Their livelihood. So there's a lot more going on than you think.
A lot of dough. But I know P. Reed made some equipment changes. That was kind of interesting this weekend, and I think he got a new 3-wood. You know, he bought off the shelf somewhere and went back to an old putter. I don't know if it was his daughter's or had his daughter's name stamped on it. I got to get verification from Kessler, but his caddy. But I know he made some equipment changes, and you know, it's that mid-season, and I think we're going to get some more coming up with the British Open coming. And
well, speaking of mid-season, we're already done with signature events now.
Yeah, I mean, that's
kind of weird. Like, it's kind of weird to me when I think about it. Like, I almost feel like the golf season's over. Like, yeah, we have the British left. It's July 1st.
Yep.
Okay. And we have one major left and no signature events left. Now, we have the FedEx Cup. I guess you can consider that signature events. And I know they've made some changes to that, although I haven't read enough to know what those changes are exactly. We'll have to get on that on another episode. But, you know, it just seems weird. And then you got into September, then you go to the Ryder Cup.
Yeah. It's over before you know it, you know.
I know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. We got some things coming up, though. We got, you know, what's pretty cool is one of my favorite events of the year, not tour related, but I love to watch it on TV. I love the place, but it's the Tahoe event, the celebrity event.
Oh,
and
on that, we're going to be there.
We need a little, maybe wagering on which celebrity is going to win, because that's always a fun one.
Yeah, because we're going to have I think we're going to have a booth or something off 17 or something. Yep. Something like that. But yeah, that is an interesting one. Who's your money on?
If I had to put money on somebody, I've played with them before. It's actually the first time I played Chicago golf, and he was my partner that day. And he shot 69. He never saw Chicago golf either. Was Mark Mulder. So pitcher, Cardinals, A's, Chicago guy.
He's a good player.
Good player. Romo's going to be up there. Pavelski, who played for the Dallas Stars.
I already told our team they better give Rogers some shit for me.
Yeah. There's some good players, A lot of these guys, they it's kind of a celebrity tour these days. I think Kevin Butler had his outing at Medinah yesterday, so a lot of those guys were in town. So yeah, pretty cool.
Speaking of Medinah, have you played the new number 3 yet?
I have. I was fortunate. I played in May. Now, I grew up caddying there, so I remember trees. I remember losing.
Yeah, what do you think of the changes? Because I'm a Medinah hater. Well, Medinah 3 hater. I think it's long, straight. I never think it's in good shape. Yep. I'm excited because I saw flyovers and stuff in renovation. I'm excited to play. I'm gonna play it in July. I've got the invite too. What do you think? Tell me. Give me
it's kind of like when you think of Medinah, there's a lot of negativity around it, and I think it's controversial. It's got a soft spot on my heart. It's very different. It's the first 12 holes, for the most part, there's not some serious changes. The course overall, you're probably not going to lose a ball. There's going to be no leaves come the fall. There's less trees. Plays fast and firm. You don't need a 60 around the greens, so it's not like a tour event. You can play it on the ground. I haven't been to Australia or New Zealand, but I would imagine it's very similar to that, based on Ogilvy and the designers on some of the changes. But holes 13 through 18 are radically different. There's still signs of old Medinah. There's still signs of 16 where Sergio
flyover that I was sent to me by a member. Those holes looked incredible.
Yeah, they look great.
Way better ending holes.
Yeah. So the greens were the best greens I played on hands down all year. So I'll tell you that right off the get-go.
That's what I call Medinah the factory, and it's like there's so many members, there's so much golf. Like course 3 to me, which just never had justice. But after they redid 1 and 2, which by the way I really like 1 and 2, it kind of helped 3 because it wasn't getting quite as much play, and now they're trying to even make guest play even harder. That head cover's sick. I got to buy one of those.
The Windy City Wizard with a Shriner on it. That was my day. So pretty cool by Ben Nardi.
No, I got to. I'm excited because I think with their new policies on guest play, all that kind of stuff, the conditions, everything, I think it's going to be the Medinah I always hoped it would be.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And like I said, I thought what they did to 1 and 2 was awesome. So
really good.
Like playing 1 and 2.
Really good. Really good.
What's the next tournament there?
We got President's Cup.
Yeah, President's
2026. So they had the Ryder Cup in 2012. We all know what happened that day. I remember I was working that event when I was with my TaylorMade days, and I was there on Sunday to see that. I remember walking to my car at 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and Rory's popping bottles. They're just
going Chicago does not have a perennial event anymore. It just drives me bonkers.
Well, we got John Deere this week. So, 2.5 hours.
Okay, 2.5 hours. And listen, I like the TPC at Deer Run. I think it's a great golf course. I think it's the most underrated golf course there probably is in the Midwest. Well, that might be a strong, but it's up there. It's really good. But I mean, it's 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, it's not close, and it's out west. I mean, it's a pretty big drive,
I wish I had time to go because our tour van's out there, and I wanted to go out and hang with Scotty G and the boys, but the schedule just didn't allow for it. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. And what's a bummer too is that's where it doesn't always get that great of a field, but a lot of great names have won there over the years. It's kind of like a launching pad for a lot of people's careers.
Yeah, I remember. So speaking of which, we're all over the place here today, but U.S. Senior Open. I grew up playing a lot of golf with Mark Hensby. Mark Hensby was from Australia.
He won last week.
Well, he didn't win. He lost to Padraig. He was in the final group with Padraig and Sink, but Mark won at the John Deere. And you saw a lot of guys' careers take off from there, where Mark went on to win that. He was on the President's Cup, and then you got Spieth, right? You got a lot of these guys, these up-and-comers that tend to win. So
I got that wrong. So I thought Hensby won last week because I don't know. I was vacationing with the family, and I saw him up there, and I go, Hey, Dad, remember?
Mark
Remember
Hensby.
Mark sleeping in his car at Cog Hill?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking back when the Western. This whole business is built around that Western Open. Because
Yep.
if it weren't for the Western Open in Cog Hill, I wouldn't have club champion today. And so Mark Hensby was part of that story in a way because he would hang around Cog Hill and sleep in his car. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. So that was. I mean, gosh, that was years ago. But
'90s.
yeah, the '90s, mid '90s, and
Yeah,
Hensby was in the running, and Harrington, and edged out
then
Sink.
Harrington gets into it with Ralph Maltby.
Yeah,
You know what, though? I like Podrick, and I think you've met him plenty of times with your
Yeah.
Wilson days, and I played in a Wilson outing with him once. And the one thing I'll say is he seemed like, well, for a lack of better terms, a little bitch. Like, he kind of wouldn't make eye contact with Roger. He kind of had his head down, and then he would talk. I'm like, if you're going to talk shit, at least, look him in the face, Podrick. Come on, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of like he knew that guy with the camera was there, and he didn't want to make a scene, but he also didn't want to just let him like get away with it. And I don't know. I could see both sides of it, but
We are all over the place. I kind of like it.
yeah,
Kind of like when me and Vic kind of talk. It's just kind of your head's on a swivel.
heads on us. Got to be quick, baby. Got to be quick.
Speaking of great golf courses, I played what I'm now going to call one of my hidden gems, Harbor Shores up in Michigan last week.
Yeah.
A lot of times when I go up there with the family, we'll play like Lost Dunes or Dunes Club, which is, they're great golf courses, but they're private and they're kind of known. Harbor Shores, where they've had, I think, like 3 or 4 senior PGAs. Holy cow. Like, I actually really liked it. It was in great shape. The layout was wild, but fair.
Yeah.
And man, I was a fan.
It was. Yeah, I haven't been up to Harbor Shores yet. I've played the usual suspects up there, but
Yeah, you got
check
to
that one
play
out.
it. Like, it's kind of weird. You go there and it's like, it's got this weird like clubhouse. Like, you're kind of in this industrial area because they took like this, like, where a bunch of manufacturing and a bunch of plants were, and they basically made it like a project to clean up the area, right? And in that project, the golf course came out of it too, and so it's got a very unique like topography. It's got a very unique like surroundings. It's kind of odd when you're there, but the golf course is like really good. Like,
Is that
really good.
Benton Harbor? Is that where it is?
Yeah, it's in Benton Harbor, St.
Okay.
Joseph, same difference.
Okay.
They're all the same, but I could see them. I mean, I don't think they could hold a PGA Tour event there. They didn't make it long enough, but the senior tour, I can see why they go there. It's plenty difficult and plenty long there. Yeah, it was good. It was me, my dad, and my son, my 9-year-old. My 9-year-old
Cool.
found a turtle on the 3rd hole, and the turtle rode in our cart the whole 18 holes by walking turtles.
You almost had a new pet.
Yeah, it was like just sitting there on the top of the cart, like the dashboard of the cart, just staring at us the whole round.
That's
Like,
pretty cool.
what are you guys doing? And then at the end, on the 18th, you put it back in the water.
I gotta check that place out. That and Arcadia are the two I haven't done in
Arcadia is sick. Now, so for me, I haven't done Arcadia. I would go up there and do it with you. I haven't done Arcadia since probably 2000.
Oh wow.
And I went to Ferris State for that short stint, and the director of golf up there at the time was an alumni, so he would allow one group to come up every day for $25.
Oh, awesome.
And it was like 2000, 2001, something like that. And so we drove up there and we played it. It was great. And now they redid that. I think it's called the South Course, which looks like just Chicago golf part 2.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I want to play those two. And I've never played Crystal Downs.
I haven't played there either.
Yeah.
That's
One of our investors, Sue Basayo, or old
Yeah.
investor, Sue Basayo, they're members. And it's what, 6 hours to get up there? And I've just never done it.
I'll tell you what, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, you could make a tour from Michigan to Chicago area, to Wisconsin, and just play some unreal golf courses. I was just up at Whistling, and makes you want to cry.
I love whistling.
Yeah.
I like whistling. I know me and you already had this discussion. You're on the fence with it,
Yeah.
but I get it. When you look at the value of it for what you pay,
Yeah.
I get it. It's hard, but like if you take the price out of it and just look
Yeah.
at the golf course, I like the golf course. I think there's some tweaks that could be done, but generally speaking, I think the last 3 or 4 holes are good closing holes.
Right. I was saying this to somebody the other day, and I might have mentioned it to you, but I think us as golfers, we're kind of sick a little bit we almost brag about overpaying for golf, getting our teeth kicked in, and then going and telling our buddies how hard it was and how, oh, it was a great experience. I spent X on a golf course. I shot 15 strokes over my handicap, but it was great. But then at the same time, we bitch and moan. We don't want to play up a tee box at our home track
That's the key.
and shoot 4 or 5 strokes better than your handicap, and then the beer tastes better at the end of the round. Well, instead we're bragging about,
let's have that discussion. People need to tee it up. Like people all the time when we get to, like, I go to Black Sheep or whatever, we have white, gray, and black, right? And typically I play the gray. But I tend to skew towards playing with older people these days. And so, they'll play the whites and they'll be like, oh, you can play the silvers. I'm like, no, I'll just play the whites with you. And they're like, oh, really? And I'm like, dude,
yeah.
Like, let's be honest. My handicap, like, it's gone up. I'm ashamed I'm a 9 right now, but it'll get down back to 5 and 6 where I belong. But the point is still, I'm not a scratch golfer. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I should be playing the whites.
Right.
I should be hitting a pitching wedge or 9 iron in, not a 7 or 6 iron in,
right.
Because that's the way I am. And that's what I try. We explain that to golfers all the time when they say, well, I'll just hit more club. Okay. But you won't hit it closer and you'll have higher scores. And you don't understand that. They only think about the tee shot. They don't think about anything else. And that's what drives me crazy. I think the USGA, PGA needs to show a model where it's not as much about the tee shot. It's about your second shot and how you score from your second shot and how tees matter for that. Because otherwise, if you keep using the driver, I feel like golfers will never get it. You'll be like, oh, I can hit it long enough.
Yeah, I'm actually the opposite of this. I actually think I play up too much. So in our normal, men's club Saturday and Sunday games, I play like the white tees with everyone else. And, I never win a handicap skin, I'll tell you that. I win maybe a scratch skin every weekend. And, my handicap has gone up a little bit because I probably shot way too many rounds under par last year playing those tees. And this year I've shot a couple. But if I go back at my home course, that's kind of what we see the average golfer doing. They play their home course all the time. They play too far back. They play pretty well. They figure it out, and it doesn't travel. Then they got to go play Black Sheep or Butler, and it doesn't travel as well.
The other thing too is they don't always adjust their handicap for the tees. So, like, they don't understand how that works. So, like, for example, I played in a one-day member guest with a gentleman who's getting older, and he's lost a lot of distance.
Sure.
And his ego still has him wanting to play, a certain tee. And he's like, well, I'll just play back there with you. I'm like, well, this is an event. The scorecard's not set up for back there. I said, we either need to go talk to the assistant and get you more strokes so you can play back there, or you're playing those forward tees and you're going to take the strokes. Yeah. I go, I'm not playing in this event and losing my butt because you want your ego to be friendly. And he's like, well, I didn't think about it like that. I'm like, of course you didn't. Yeah. But I am, because I'm thinking about the money. I'm like, no. Either playing the forward tees or we got to go get you more strokes. And people don't think about that. Now, I eventually enforced him to play the forward tees, which is where he should play, and he played great.
So if I move back, I actually looked this up this morning because I was kind of thinking about this recently. So it's a good conversation. If I move back a box, I got to add 2.
Yep.
When I play the white, I'm a 0. If I go back, I'm a 2. And in the game, we play low gross, low net handicaps. It's not going to help me or hurt me, I don't think, at my home course.
Yeah.
Because I know it. I know where to hit it. You get comfortable, right? So I don't think it's going to help or hurt me. But if I were to go up a box, maybe go to a +2, now I got no chance of winning a handicap skin.
I've played that game a little bit when I've been playing as like the tee box handicap game, just to see. And, I think at home course, it's an advantage too, because like I can play like from the blacks. Like if, let's say I'm playing with the good players, like Nates and Denmans and Goltz. If I go back and play from the blacks with them, it's adding like, I can't remember if it's 3 or 4 strokes. And to me, on my course, because it's not a super long golf course, it's actually a benefit for me.
Yeah.
But To be honest, that's because I'm still of the age where I can hit the ball pretty good and, stuff like that. Now, I wouldn't recommend that for everybody, but it is funny. People don't usually have these conversations about tees and
No.
handicap. And it's something, and I think it's more, at country clubs because handicap's such it's something that gets talked about all the time because we're playing with the same people all the time and we're playing in events with all the time.
Yeah.
And so sandbagger comes out a lot or vanity caps come out a lot, but it's something for golfers to think about. And I don't even know if golfers know that their handicap changes when they play different tees.
Yeah. You know what I did though, Nick? This goes off of our recent filming, which will be up on YouTube here shortly, but I actually took the 3-iron out of the bag.
7-wood?
And I put the 7-wood in. So I actually go driver 3-wood hybrid.
Wait, there's the hybrid still in there?
And then back to the 7.
Okay, explain the distances.
So
height differences.
So my 3-wood, 13.5. Fine. Awesome. I go 17-degree hybrid.
And you hit that off the ground and off the tee, right?
Yes, yeah, and I can make both. I like that. I like being able to.
The same way. I have the mini driver 13.5. I can hit it off the tee. I can hit it off the ground.
I have the regular fairway wood. I have a GT2, and then I got a Ping G432 hybrid, which is like one of my favorite clubs. But I've had the utility iron for a long time. And
what does the 17-degree Ping hybrid go?
I hit it about 250, 245, 250 from the deck, from the ground. And then that 7-wood is great because I feel like I can whiff it 210, 215, or hit it 2.25, 230. It doesn't want to move on me though. It's just straight. Can't complain.
Well, there's going to be a great video of you, Joe, and Mitch using a driving iron or utility iron, a hybrid, and a 7-wood on a 240-yard par 3, and it's pretty incredible to see the TrackMan differences and all that. But no, I mean, listen, the 7-wood is making a comeback. I'm the same way. I can't, it's just so easy to hit, and I can actually feel like I can land it on a green. So,
well, and the other thing, too, is here's my first thought was I'm never going to hit it off the tee. But I forced myself both rounds this weekend to hit it off the tee. And
I hit mine off the tee occasionally.
I liked it. So
a sheep with hole 5, that, risk reward par 4 that you can either drive the green, but you could go beer in the water, or you can hit it like 210, 220 out there in the fairway. That I've been using the 7-wood and not going for the green as often unless it's like a green light special with the wind and everything. And it saved me a lot of strokes this year on that hole. I've played that hole way better than years past.
In the end, though, I just had this conversation, and it has brought this huge urgency to get fit, though, because people don't really understand yardage, height differences by just the loft on the bottom. So
it's a gapping thing, and it's a height thing. Like, people go, well, why do you like the 7-wood, Nick? You're a pretty strong player or hitter, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, here's why. To your point, you just said it. It's forgiving, but I also feel like I never, it's always in the air, and I can always land and hit. I feel like I have control of it more than I did with a hybrid.
Yeah.
Meaning, how it's going to end up landing, how it's going to end up sitting, all that kind of stuff. Where my hybrid, I didn't know. Sometimes it would balloon a little bit, and then I would maybe do okay, but that's not really optimal. Or, I'd scoop one across the green. This now is just high, lands like a butterfly with sore feet.
I like that. I like that. But it's really interesting to see how that club fits in a player's bag. And who would have thought? I mean, now I got to have more fairway I got to go get more fairway covers to match the rest of my bag now, Nick. That's the biggest problem.
Enough head covers. If they've watched a couple episodes, I'm starting to build my head cover thing over here. Yeah. I will never be this low. Although at my house, I'm getting closer to where you're at, but I'm still miles away.
July 4th, plenty of head cover releases from the Chicago companies.
Listen,
there it is. Another one.
This one's cool. The Glizzy middle finger.
I got that one. I'm a huge hot dog guy, so I got that one. That one's solid.
I had to do the anything red, white, and blue or camo. I'm in.
Yeah, I will show everyone a couple new additions. I can't grab them from here, but got a couple new additions, and we'll do on the next one, red, white, and blue related.
Okay, as we round out, and before we get in, we have a short interview today with one of our fitters, Peter Caprisi, who's currently at our Hackensack, but he will be moving up to a different store. That being said, he's awesome. He has a great story about a lady he fit and just incredible results and across the board. So we'll have him coming in. But before we do that, we do have some club champion news. When we next week, we will be opening up another location in Johnstown, Colorado. That's a northern suburb of Denver. Denver's been a great market for us. We're in Westminster there. We're in Highlands Ranch, and now we will be in Johnstown. So that as of Friday, when you're listening to this, Monday, that store will be open. For July, we have a couple cool specials. We have a trade-in event the whole month of July. Yep. You can trade in any golf clubs you have. Even if it's a head, you'll get credit for just a head. If you have upgraded shafts in there, you can get credit for the upgraded shafts. So it's one of the greatest trade-ins we can do. We partner with Next Round, who does it with us. So you get great value, and you can do multiple things. Whether you just want to trade in a head, you want to trade in a whole club, and you're like, hey, this shaft is like a $300 shaft. You're going to get credit for it. So anyway, we have a trade-in event. The best part is not only will you get whatever the trade-in value is, you'll get an additional 25%. So if you trade in $100, you get $125. So now you have to purchase something. We can't just give you a gift card with it and say, hey, you can buy something later. We're not set up to do that yet. But if you're thinking about purchasing something, it's basically like you can trade something in. It's basically like getting a 25% discount. So great event. Clean out the garage. It's that time of year. Get ready. Get some new stuff. And also we have our $100 full bag fit promo through the month, which means you make any custom club purchase at Club Champion. Your fitting's $100 for a full bag. It's a great deal. So even if you're just thinking for a driver, come in, look at your full bag, make sure there's not any other holes. I always say, and I got a sign back here now, and I got to get it to where people can see it. But it says, they don't know what they don't know.
Yep.
Okay. And I mean this the nicest way possible, everybody listening. You don't know what you don't know. And so you can sit there and think, oh, I have the greatest thing ever, or my bag's perfectly set, or whatever. Yeah, Nick, you're just in the business to sell golf clubs. Of course you're going to say that. You're going to tell me anything. No. It's all data-driven. I can't fool you unless you're just blind. So my point is let's make sure everything's where it needs to be. Listen, it never hurts to see. No one's holding a gun to you to buy anything. We're just telling you, hey, commit to the fit, get in, see what value's out there, see where we can help you eliminate scores, and then you can buy what you want to buy. Mm-hmm. But don't act like you know everything, because they don't know what they don't know.
We need some stickers, Nick.
I know.
Stickers are next.
Fine, I tell fitters, because fitters sometimes will listen to the customer a little too much and they're like, everybody just heard that and goes, Nick, what are you talking about? Well, listen, we're listening to you, but at the end of the day, we're like doctors, right? Our job is to listen, hear your symptoms of what you think's wrong with you, but we need to go run the tests and find the answers. This is what the best players in the world do. I don't care if you're a beginner golfer or you're a weekend warrior that's a scratch. You need to have the right equipment to enjoy this game, and the only way to do that is through a proper club fitting. So you got some great specials this month. Come in and get it. Other news on demos, and I know this one, Titleist. Starting next week, we will have Titleist in. Okay, so you can go get fit for Titleist starting next week at Club Champion. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that. Don't care. Going to say it anyway. By the way, we may be able to fulfill orders a little sooner than others. Not saying we can, not saying we can't. Read between the lines. So if you're interested in the new Titleist irons, 2 years, 2-year product life cycle. So these are always a big thing. They've done some great. Brad, did you go get fit for a set?
I did. I'm anxiously awaiting them.
What do you think?
Really good. I tell you, with the new 2 series irons, I think players can expect more forgiveness in every category, a little bit more spin, a little bit better sound and feel in all the models. So thumbs up. Awesome.
Okay. Well, I have not had the ability to hit them yet, although I could have. I'm excited to. The tech looks great, and I think they've cleaned up a lot of stuff. So if you're a Titleist person, get in and get fit. Well, Brad, I think that's enough for today. We'll get into the Peter Capri's story about his club fitting, and we'll see everybody in 2 weeks.
Let's do it.
We're back, and this is one of my favorite segments we've started doing, which is You Fit What? And so it's where we have 333 some fitters out there in the field, and I asked them to send me as many cool fitting stories as they could. And so one of the ones that first came in was from Peter over here, which he'll give an introduction of himself. And I thought it was worth sharing, as it's just one of those cool stories that we hear every day in our bays about how we, help golfers change the way they do. So, Peter, thanks for coming on. Give a little background on yourself, what store you're at, and then let's tell this story.
Morning, guys. Peter Cabis here, fitting out of the Hackensack store in New Jersey. Originally out of Colts Neck. I'll be actually moving to the West Long Branch location in a couple weeks, so I'll be fitting out of there soon. But came to Club Champion not too long ago. Not too long ago I was getting taught by Sislo. I think graduated in April or March. I'm sorry. Yep. And then best decision I ever made coming from 15 years in the tech world. Decided to make the leap and come to Club Champion, and been happy so far.
Awesome. So tell about your fitting story. What happened, and what you were able to do for this golfer.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, honestly. Young lady came in, kind of smaller stature, but had a great swing. Had some sneaky power, and I could tell, right off the cuff, kind of one of those smooth swingers making that late lag with the hands, but she was ping-ponging it everywhere. And she said, Peter, I need, help with the driver. I got fitted, won't mention where, but I got fitted, and they fit me into this lady's Zexio. It just feels like I can't control it. Ultra light shaft, probably 40 grams and about 43 inches in length. And what really stood out to me right away, and what one of the reasons I wrote about it is I talk about it a lot in my bay, where, the lazy fitting, and people come to us all the time for this. And I think it has a lot to do with, that word we don't like to use at Club Champion, which is standard. We're not the standard. Part of what we do is going out of the norm, and a lot of people that come to us already have had fittings, but it didn't work because, often other fitters tend to just go with the standard. And what I mean by that, especially when somebody of a smaller stature, I'm not that big of a guy myself as well. I can't tell you how many males and females come in and just say, well, they fit me to shorter clubs because I was shorter. Or even, some taller guys. Hey, I'm 6 foot tall and they gave me an inch longer. But they have what I like to call the knuckle draggers, long arms. And, and they're, now they're sitting there bottoming out with much longer clubs than they need. The easy move is just to, make the assumption that, as a female, she just needs shorter and lighter clubs, which just wasn't, the case. Nick, you talk a lot about this in the show in terms of there's people that swing faster with heavier clubs. This ended up being the case with her. I put a couple heavier things, and the first thing she asked and say, wait, don't I need a ladies club? Is this a little bit longer? And I told her my wife's actually similar stature as yourself, 5'2", and she uses a 45-inch club, and, she nails it just fine. Why would I make it shorter if I don't have to? We're going to use whatever works best for her. Right away, like I mentioned, I asked her, hey, did you happen to play baseball or softball? And she said, yeah, actually, I was a softball player. I was like, I can tell. So immediately went to the counterbalance, which seems to work with a lot of the laggy, short, hand swingers, the hockey players, the baseball players. Shout out to Vic at VA Composites. Love his shafts. I use them myself in a bunch of my clubs. But started off with the Nemesis, and she starts getting better right away. And Brad, this is one of these little cheat things you taught me in fitting. I used a floating window, and I put it on the other side, and I'm watching her impact location. And, when she started off, you just see it all over the face. And as soon as I start going a little bit heavier and a little bit stiffer, she starts making good contact. And we were close with the Nemesis, but I went straight to the counterbalance Sinister at regular at 55 grams. So 15 grams heavier than what she was currently using. And she just starts nailing him. She can't miss. And now we're seeing some gains right away. We're at, we haven't even touched the head yet. And, we settle on the head and I show her. And, again, she asked me, she said, wow, I should be swinging a regular shaft. I'm like, yeah, you're a lot faster than you think. The lighter shaft's not helping you. Long story short, we move on to heads. And we actually settled on a heavier head. Titleist head, I believe, was the TaylorMade great head, the QI. She was getting the ball speed, but I think some of the weight or lack thereof was causing a pull then. As soon as we went to the Titleist, the GT2, she just starts going dead straight again. And, I think she finished at her longest hit around 230, 240 and averaging 220. She wasn't even cracking 165 when she came in. So she was very happy. And, 60 yards is the difference of hitting 6 to 5 iron to, a pitching wedge of 9. That's gigantic.
Well, and to your point, it wasn't a lazy fit. So this is what I love. And, I get asked a lot to paint like very, very broad pictures of like, hey, Nick, what should I do in this situation? Well, I mean, I can tell you what I would bet on. That being said, until you try it, you just never know. And so I always get a kick out of people that like get online and act like they know everything, because the reality of it is you don't. I don't. You don't. Brad doesn't. Now, if you have the right tools, you can go try and make it happen. That's what I think is great about Club Champion is not only do we get great people like Peter that understand customer experience and treating the person and educating the person and giving them the all in and the whys behind it, but also having the technology and the tools in order to find those answers like you did. I mean, you came from a different industry, but let's say you were at a Galaxy or you were at a demo day. No way she ever gets to that fit. They just, and it's not that they might not be smart enough. They just probably don't even have the tools to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's one of the things I always like to make sure we do as well. I back it up. So I went straight, at the end of the fitting, we went straight to a lighter shaft just to let her see. I went into the Max Light QI. Let's take another look. Let's go into a lighter shaft. Ping-ponging all over the place. Put the other shaft and the other head back in, nailing it down the middle. So the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, and people come in and they'll ask us sometimes, they'll be like, well, Nick, you don't have many ladies' heads. I go, what are you talking about? We have 1 million ladies' clubs. And they go, well, what? I go, there's no difference usually between a normal lady's head and a men's head. The only difference is a paint job and possibly some weight. Yeah. Well, guess what? Peter, I and Brad can play with weight however we want. So we can make any head a lady's head or a men's head. It's just a different color. And so, the reality of it is, women don't always understand that. They haven't been told, or they haven't been educated, or, the market really doesn't always speak to them as much as it speaks to the male audience. And so, that's definitely something you educated that golfer on that day. And obviously she benefited from it hugely.
Yeah. I asked her the same question. I said, well, what is a ladies' club? Does that mean it's lighter? It's whippier? Because we got long drivers using 40-gram drivers that are in senior flex. What does that mean? I've fitted seniors to stiff clubs, when they're like, Peter, why would I do that? I'm like, sir, you're hitting them longer and straighter. So what? Would you like the senior flex or? Yeah. Happy to appease you, but we can't fit to what that letter says. That letter doesn't mean anything.
What's pretty cool, Peter, is you probably didn't even need to show her the numbers. She, it was so obvious, right? And there was this aha moment where she just kind of was like, "All right, that's done. We're good there. Move on to the next thing," right?
Yeah, but I think that's part of our process too at Club Champion is. I'm pretty confident in, the numbers and how we did it in the process that I'm fine with showing them that because it's just, giving them that extra confidence of like, yeah, he's right. This is it for me. This is the best we're going to get. And, she left with a huge smile on her face and, gains she never thought she could, have. She had no idea she was going to be able to hit, 220 average. She was hitting 160s.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Peter, thanks for coming on and telling us your story. It was great to talk about that and a little different where we got to, show what we can do for the ladies out there as well, because we want them in here as well as the men. We want to help anybody that wants to get better at golf. So if you're in the New Jersey area, check Peter out. He's a great fitter and you'll really enjoy the fitting and maybe he can gain you 40 or 50 yards as well.
I got my swing.